We're going to use this problem to show the 5 steps of the hypothesis testing process. According to the National Safety Council, 23% of all crashes each year involve cell phone use. A local community group believes that the percent is higher on their roadways. A random sample of 120 crashes reveal that 38 involve cell phone use. Is this strong evidence to support the group's claim? The first thing we need to do is establish the hypothesis statements for this problem.
Let's find the hypothesis statements for this problem. The problem told us that according to the National Safety Council, 23% of accidents involve cell phone use. Now, this statement gives me a pretty good idea that we're going to have a hypothesis test that revolves around a proportion or a percent. But it doesn't necessarily guarantee it. As I look deeper into the problem, I see that the community group collected some data, and this will really reinforce what type of test we're going to do. The data said that 38 of the 120 randomly selected crashes involved cell phone use. This is a count. It's a count of how many outcomes had cell phone use, how many accidents had cell phone use. It's the results of a categorical variable. The researchers saw that yes or no cell phone use was involved in the accident. So along with the 23% and the evidence being a count of successes out of a total number of observations, we know this is a proportion. So this will tell me to put P on the board for population proportion. Now, the population proportion they gave us, the National Safety Council, was 23%. So that's going to be my first statement. This is our null hypothesis. Our alternative hypothesis will also have a P. We don't change parameters, and it also has the same quantity. That doesn't change either. What does change is the relationship between P and 0.23. According to the way the problem reads, it says that the community believes that this percent is higher on their roadways. So we would put a greater than here. So at this moment, we have completed the first step of the hypothesis testing process, which is to simply write the hypothesis statements. Before I end this video, I do want to say a few things about the hypothesis testing process. One of the big parts of this is that the null hypothesis is considered true until we can prove otherwise. This is a huge part of the hypothesis process, is that the null hypothesis is given the consideration of truth until we can produce evidence or prove otherwise. Does this sound familiar? The hypothesis testing process is very similar to our trial by jury here in the US, where people are considered innocent until proven guilty. Same thing with the null hypothesis. Now, if you think about a jury trial, how that innocence or guilt is determined is through a presentation of evidence by both the prosecution and the defense. So I just want to say that we're going to have evidence in our problem. I've already referred to it as evidence, which is the information and data that the community group collected. This will ultimately determine whether we will deem the null true or possibly prove it false.